So yeah, this is going to be very chaotic on the way through because the changes in Bitcoin, the changes in us.
I wanted to touch on a little bit of what we're seeing in gold. And the reason being is that I very much kind of view Bitcoin as the optimist sound money and gold as kind of the pessimist sound money. And where I'm coming from on that is a lot of times when people gold bugs come and talk to me, I'll get the like, well, what about if there's no power? And what about if there's no internet? And what if we have this Mad Max state? It's very kind of doomerism in the outlook for the future. And with that, currently gold is outrunning Bitcoin year to date in terms of price appreciation measured in the old system. And I'm wondering if that is, in your view, perhaps reflective of anything. I'm curious if it might be reflected of mood or kind of fear or sentiment out there as well too, or even possibly if we may have reached a short-term plateau in kind of the everyman adoption. I don't know about you, but I'm not getting a lot of questions about Bitcoin these days.
Yeah, gold has always been the reference point for hard money, right? So in any previous cycle, so it'd be normal that more people would think of gold as a reference point than Bitcoin because Bitcoin's newer, understood. So I think that's all you're saying. The gold typically moves first, and then Bitcoin moves a lot more afterwards. And if you were a central bank, most central banks don't want Bitcoin, but they would take gold, right? So if you're purchasing and trying to keep your monopoly on money, then you probably need something that can centralize. So I just think we're so early in the understanding of what Bitcoin is. So that Bitcoin is imposing essentially the first free market that's ever existed, and there's many more people in the world that look backwards on what has always happened in history, and gold would be a good proxy.
No, that makes sense. In terms of that sort of being so early in, it feels like, again, I know that we have commercial entities and kind of institutions getting into the space at this point. We have that kind of nation state dabbling a little bit, but even with the thing, like things feel very divided. It feels like it is getting worse, but it could be that I'm way too much in the noise. Is there anything that you think is kind of the hurdle that people are still struggling to get over to see Bitcoin, to start to see that new system?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're insanely early. If you're running a podcast in this system, like you're insanely early. From to me, it's pretty remarkable that it's actually so simple, right? Then the natural state of the free market is deflation. Right? We've never experienced a global free market before, and all of our previous beliefs have to move to understand that by moving to Bitcoin and taking agency and running a node in Bitcoin, you are moving yourself out of that other system into a new system. That if the natural state of the free market is deflation, which it certainly is, then more people in that system, more people competing to provide value to other people, creates faster deflation forever. If you understand Bitcoin at that level, right, that this is the first decentralized secure protocol bounded by energy that's ever existed, open to anybody, and you've removed your own cognitive dissidence and moved to the new system, and now you're teaching other people, you just have to ask, what would this transition look like from every single person changing their beliefs and understanding what I just said and moving through all of the noise that is always their past, right? So how do we learn things? We typically have a mental model of the world, and we add things to our mental model. So when something challenges our mental model of the world, all of our information to describe the world has always been from that mental model, and something completely eradicates that mental model, it can be true, but we might not believe it. Right? So it's an objective reality that's true, but it's our own belief system that's constructing the world, and we're measuring it. So most even Bitcoiners today, I don't think have moved through to understand what's actually happening. They're still measuring the world from fiat currency and converting Bitcoin to their fiat currency in a belief that prices always go up. And it's wild to me that they can know for sure that the natural state of the free market is deflation and still do that. Right. And so I'm not saying that that's bad, good, anything else. It just is. and that's why this is so hard. When we want to think, we want to believe we're smarter than everyone, and you and me, or we're better, and everybody else is not, right? We kind of, but we're all kind of caught in this really crazy dilemma of a change with such magnitude that's never existed before, that we are a part of, that most people are still measuring from a different system. So then ask yourself from that, what would this look like? What would this change look like? As every single human being on the planet had to go through the same thing, as every politician, as not just every institution had to go through the exact same thing, it would look as chaotic. It would look exactly like it looks, right? It would look, all of that is what's still coming to try to kill Bitcoin is essentially our mindset within that system, not realizing we have agency in a new system and giving our power away to that system that's trying to control us. So yeah, this is going to be very chaotic on the way through, because the changes in Bitcoin, the changes in us.
Attention all freedom-loving Alberta Bitcoiners. Tired of the big six banks freezing funds, blocking transactions, or slamming your account shut without warning or explanation just for dipping into Bitcoin? Remember the Freedom Convoy debanking nightmare?
Federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
But don't let them control your money or erase your financial life. Join the pioneers over at Bow Valley Credit Union, a place run by freedom and sound money advocates. I bank there myself. They are the first and only traditional bank or credit union in Canada to directly integrate Bitcoin via their Bitcoin gateway. If you have to use dollars, why settle for a fiat-only account when you could seamlessly move in and out of Bitcoin? No hassle, no questions, no rehypothecation, no leverage. This isn't paper Bitcoin. Withdraw to self-custody at any time. Insured and auditable, it's perfect for adding Bitcoin to your corporate balance sheet. If you or your business is in Alberta, switch to your Bitcoin refuge at bowvalleycu.com. Scan the QR code or click the link below.
If you enjoyed this clip of Jeff Booth from the Mentor Sessions podcast, check out the full episode by clicking the link on the screen or down below in the description.